There's no such thing as sight reading. And a band director the other day asked me, what tone exercises should she be doing with her beginner and middle school saxophone players that maybe she's not aware of? And I know what she wanted. She wanted long tones, overtones, initial pitch exercises, octave slurs, the physical technique of producing the tone. And those things are important. But the honest answer is, if you want to have a nice tone and you want to play in tune, you have to be literate in all keys. So if you're playing an instrument where the pitch and the tone are produced by your body, you're using your body to manipulate those things. Now, if you're playing an electronic instrument, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're playing a wind instrument, you're playing a string instrument where you are physically manipulating the pitch and the tone quality with the muscles in your body, then the muscles you use to play in tune and the muscles you use to play with a nice tone are the same muscles. And developing the ability to play with a nice tone and to play in tune is a combination of two things. And number one is the physical technique, developing the muscles necessary. But then number two, which is more important, is you have to know what things sound like. If you don't know what the thing is supposed to sound like, then you have no hope of producing that sound, whether it be a tone quality or whether it be a pitch. If you don't know, you can't find a sound with your ears if you don't know what it's supposed to sound like, for the same reason that you can't find an object with your eyes if you don't know what it looks like. And so when you learn a scale or a chord, an arpeggio, any kind of vocabulary in all keys, and any vocabulary you're learning in Western European music is going to be made up of scales and chords, scales and arpeggios. We have diatonic scales, we have symmetrical scales, we have diatonic chords and symmetrical chords, but any vocabulary that you're using is going to be made up of some combination of those things. You learn something in all keys. The goal is not just to learn the technique. You're not just trying to learn how to play your scales. You're familiarizing yourself with a sound. When you learn the major scales in all keys, you're teaching yourself a sound. You're not supposed to just learn how to play them. A major scale was a sound before it was written on the page. The sound came first. A major scale was a sound before your fingering chart was created. And so if you just learn how to play them, it's not going to do you any good. Literacy is not just what does it look like written on the page, it's what does it sound like. The sound came first. It was a sound before it was a symbol. And so if I learn a scale, learn a major scale in all keys, I am familiarizing myself with the sound while tuning every note on the instrument in every degree of this melody that I have familiarized myself with. For example, in the key of C, C is the tonic. But if I'm in the key of B flat, C is note 2 of the melody. Note 2 of the melody doesn't tune like note 1 of the melody. A C major scale and a B flat major scale are melodically the same. The melodic intervals are in the same place. I want the melody of my C scale to sound like the melody of my B flat scale, but in the key of C, C is the tonic, and key of B flat, C is the second note of the melody. Key of A flat, C is the third note of the melody. Key of G, C is the fourth note of that melodic material. Key of F, it's the fifth note. Key of E flat is the sixth note. Key of D flat is the seventh note. And so, if you familiarize yourself with the sound, you're tuning every note on your instrument in every degree of this melody that you familiarize yourself with, and the knowledge of how that is supposed to sound is what you use to guide those muscles that you develop when you do long tones and octave slurs and overtones and melodies on the mouthpiece, or, all of the physical parts. And every time you learn a new scale or chord or arpeggio in all keys, you're going through that process again, right? You're familiarizing yourself with a new sound so that knowledge of that sound can guide those muscles, and you're tuning every note on the instrument in context of this new melodic material. It probably isn't possible to play in tune and to play with your best tone until you're literate in all keys. Some evidence for that is all the public school band programs with the tuners stuck on the end of the kids' bells, because they have to tune with their eyes, because they can't tune with their ears, because they don't know what it's supposed to sound like, because they just memorize the fingerings for the scale, and they're not actually literate. So if you want to improve your tone, if you want to improve your pitch, become literate in all keys, then those technique exercises, your ears can guide those muscles to produce those sounds that are stored in your brain. My name is Mark Dooley. I've been a private music teacher for 37 years, focused on practical theory and music literacy. If you'd like to hear more, follow me. If you'd like lessons, contact me. If you can learn how to read words, you can learn how to read music.